working in a Japanese company is something me and Adam have done in the past. Yes, it's true. We've gone through what it's like being the kohai to the senpai, and then, hey, being the senpai to the kohais. And it's a very, very different type of environment that we find in North America. And I'm sure that is something that can be very difficult for people who are brought up in a Western culture to see what it's like in Japan. And vice versa, someone who's maybe brought up in Japan and then seeing what it's like in a Western style company, there can be a lot of differences. So Adam, what do you think about this whole working environment being different? What was it like for you living in Japan, working for a Japanese company? Was it like the stereotypes that we've all heard of, you got to do zangyo all the time, you have to wait for Bucho to leave first and then you can leave or something?
I've seen different sides of it. My friends have experienced different sides of it in the same company that I worked for at first. Like I had friends who were in that situation where they weren't able to go home until everything was done, until all of the staff left the office. But in my case, like everybody wanted to go home early or as soon as possible. So we all just kind of worked hard to finish everything and just left on time. Like after the shift was done, we all worked and tried to leave. So I've seen that side. I've also seen this side of staying overtime, waiting for everyone to finish and trying to kind of wait for your go ahead to kind of leave.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like because it is changing, of course, right? Since the whole Black Kigyo, like that whole situation was very big in the news. So I think a lot of companies are more proactive about making these changes. So
or proactive about hiding
it better. Yeah, that's another thing. So I've been in this situation where it wasn't like they're saying like we're not a Black Kigyo. We want you to go home when you have to, when there's no work for you to do. So I've seen both sides, but then I've also seen the side where even if you are kind of supposed to go home, but you have to work a little extra, like you can't save it to the next day, if that makes sense. Okay. I've also seen the side where it's none of that. It's just like 9 to 5. People go home when they want to go home. People come in when they want to come in. But I've also seen the stereotypical like people sleeping in the office and it's okay.
Oh, man.
People just doing overtime when they didn't have to because they weren't doing work during the day. I've seen it all.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
All of it was a shock to me in general.
Yeah. So in Japan, there's those different types of companies, and there's a different type of like just feeling of how much you're going to give yourself to that company. Now, there's this term in Japanese, Kigyo Senshi, company soldier.
Okay.
Yes. Now, this was seen as like, I've heard that it's kind of like a positive thing, like, oh, if you're loyal to your company and you're doing a lot of hard work, almost like, we see soldiers for countries that they're doing something good. They're helping the country stay strong or stay independent, keep their freedom, especially in the US. That's how our view of it is. But then there's also another term called shachiku, which translates to company slave. Ooh. You could see it like that. Okay. Or I've heard that the term is usually used for like, I don't know, like, or like a horse, kind of like a donkey, like an animal that is used for farmers as a tool
like
to
a
get
workhorse?
Something done. Yeah,
I see.
A workhorse. Exactly, and that is, I feel like something most people don't want to be.
I see.
And I even feel like in the Western country, like I don't know, like if we have this kind of phrase of being a soldier for your company, that you could be loyal to your company, but it's not something I feel like everyone aspires to do. We all want to be number one. We all want to be on top. So I feel like for the most part, people are like, man, I want to be like manager, or I want to be able to move up, or I'm going to like go somewhere else.
Yeah. Basically the upward mobility in your company is a lot like a question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Means like what kind of desire do you have in this company to be better than you are when you enter, right? They don't want you to
Yes.
stay in the same position, and they kind of look down on it if you just want to be the person in the mailroom for the rest of your life. Like maybe they're okay with it, but
They might be, yeah.
yeah,
Like,
it's
all right,
like
no, not causing
bad,
problems, just
not causing
getting the work
problems,
done.
right? Just you just want to stay there, but at the same time, they want to see your growth and development because that's a sign that you are interested in the company and growing within the company and helping the company grow in the future.
Yeah.
So
yes,
you know,
yes.
they prefer you to not be a workhorse, but more of a person with, you know, some kind of feeling of strength, like you want to be better in the future, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They're very different worlds.
Right.
And I feel like in Japan it's still very centered around the society and how everyone grew up pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Of doing as you're told, right? You don't want to be the one that sticks out.
Yeah.
So as long as you stay in line, everything's fine. And I feel like for the most part, that's happened. I've seen TV shows like joking about it, even in the US, and like heard about it here in Japan too, where it's like it just depended on how long you worked for that company.
Right.
It's like you moved up.
Right. Yeah.
So this might have been like just like the bubble era.
Yeah.
Where everyone was making money, so no one really cared so much.
Yeah.
But it's something that was like, yeah, like you start work for the company and you're like, wow, this person who's in charge, I don't think they really know how to manage. Like,
right. That's one of the things that I was surprised about was titles in Japan. Like manager, supervisor. Those titles.
Yeah.
When I realized that they didn't mean that much, I stopped wanting to be something higher than I was. Because in North America, if you get the title of manager or supervisor, your responsibility for your employees increases, and number one, and your salary increases.
Yes.
Whereas in the companies where I've worked, the people with the titles of supervisor and manager, their workload increased. Their requirements to stay later and work longer increased.
Yeah. Yep. The responsibilities.
But not like in a way that you're learning something new. It just means you have more work, basically. And a lot of the managers I spoke to, they always said that. They're like, yeah, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, I just have more work. When I hear manager, I'm like, oh, manager. And they're like, oh, no, it's not what you think.
Right.
It just means I have more work. So
yeah.
That was surprising for me, really surprising. Like, I thought managers would make double what the basic employee made, but sometimes it's not even double. Sometimes it's like just a little bit more, but they have a bonus. And that leads me to my second thing about bonuses, which was that, bonuses aren't
scarce, a rarity.
Not even that they're rare. It's not a reflection of how hard you worked.
Oh, okay.
It's a reflection of how well the business did. Whereas in North America, if you work really hard, and show that you work really hard, it becomes a point where you can negotiate a bigger bonus and more salary based on your performance.
Yeah.
Where in Japan, it wasn't like that. It's like you work hard, but everybody kind of gets the same bonus. Oh,
we're all the same nails.
Yeah,
exactly. Where in the US, you've seen again, TVs, movies. I'm sure people who watch a lot of Western movies and TV shows will see a scene where they're arguing with their boss or their manager to be like, hey, you're calling me in for that raise, right? They're like, oh no, we just need you to work weekends again. It's like, but I've been waiting, I've been working so hard.
You told me, you promised me I'd get the raise.
Yeah. And you do it one-on-one.
Right.
Now, of course, this isn't for every company. True. I'm sure there's plenty of companies. This is our experience that we've had. And I think it depends as well as how big that company is. If you work for a small place, work for a massive corporation.
Yeah, it might be different, but in general, I feel like the theme, the theme,
yeah.
The way things are listed, the ranking, the bonus time scale, like everything seems to be along the tracks. And
it's the Shinkansen.
It is.
You got to be on time. This is when this happens.
Yeah.
This is when the train leaves. This is when this is when you get your bonus. This is when
2 times
the Shinyu shines. They come in at this time.
Yeah, that's how it felt. It felt really structured.
Yeah,
and nothing goes outside of the structure.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I thought was like surprising was becoming shine versus the Keyak shine. I'm like, wait, so I'm like, because in English we just have like part-time and full-time.
Yeah,
that's it. You get 2. And when I came to Japan, I learned that no, there's 3. So yeah, it's like there was part-time, but they were working the same hours as full-time. I'm like, but it's called part-time.
Part means portion, like half or a third
the time that you have to work.
Yeah.
And full-time would mean, yes, you're 100%. Working the full time, the whole day's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Japan, the whole shine, Keyaku shine, or even like, part-time, I'm like, but you're here all the time. What's the difference? That is the biggest thing that really like threw me off. And I saw where people were kind of like, but you get these benefits, so I want to become shine.
Right.
Or no, I don't care. I'll just stay here in this position until maybe finding another job or something.
Right.
Yeah. So even that whole thought process of working for a company, how long you're going to be there, if you're going to be moving up, if you want to stay in your spot in that company and become the shine, all of that was pretty different in Japan comparing to North America. And who knows, this is just us talking about North America and Japan. Who knows what it's like in South America, in Europe. So many different companies. Are there black companies all around the world? Probably, depending on how what types of things they put their employees through. Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about this topic? Have you ever worked for a company that is non-Japanese or vice versa? Let us know. Subscribe to the channel for awesome talks like this and like the video.
Yeah, but that's it. We'll see you on
the next step.